talking all things life, self-improvement and chronic illness. Former M.E CFS sufferer Toby Morrison is here to help you with your own recovery or health transformation journey. This is the CFS podcast, where CFS stands for choice, future and success.
Hey guys, Toby Morrison here. I'm a little bit exhausted today because I've had a massive day of surfing and working and exercising and more working and producing content, and as I kind of was about to lay my head to rest, I had a little thought, and as Toby does, he picks up the phone and records what he thinks. So today's podcast is about listening but not trying to help. How often does someone ask you to hear their problem but they don't want your help? You know, and they'll call you and they'll complain and they'll tell you all their troubles in the world, and you try to help them, and then they get offended by your advice. Now, this is the actual problem. The problem isn't the actual problem for them. They actually are getting more benefit from their problem than drawbacks. Hence, they're talking about it and creating more of it. Therefore, they actually do not want your help. So it's a really tough one, especially if you're a helper or you're the archetype of a caregiver, someone who gives more than gets, can give but can't receive, or feels uncomfortable receiving, which is pretty common in today's age, because we're found guilty if we receive get. It's a funny thing. So if you're a caregiver out there and you're constantly trying to help someone, but they don't actually want your help, even though they're telling you all your problems, this is for you. What you need to do is just listen, and bite your tongue. Do not try and help someone who doesn't want help. And I know that's hard, especially even for me, when I'm coaching someone. It's not really when I'm coaching someone because I'm really specific with who I work with these days. So I only really work with clients who want direct help and want the honest truth and want to move forwards out of the mud, so to speak. So, for me, I'm very lucky in my work life that I'm not lucky. It's I've chosen to do that personally, so I can work with people who really need the work and want the work and want to create change. Therefore, it's a great outcome for everyone involved. However, day to day, I walk down the street, I bump into someone at a cafe, and bang, there goes the life story, the pity party, and the coach in me wants to say, you should do this, you should do that, you need to stop doing this, you need to start doing this. And now I'm wise enough to know when to talk and when to hold my tongue, and most of the time holding your tongue will be better for you, because you won't exert all this amount of energy and get nothing in return. And by getting something in return, I mean getting a great outcome for someone. Usually it'll come back and they'll start to point the finger and go, well, that's not right, and I didn't ask for that kind of help or advice, you don't know what you're talking about. So rather than going around in circles, it's all about just listening and being conscious of whether the person actually wants help or they just want to talk about their problem, because there is a lot of people who love to talk about their problems because they've got so many, and life is just hard and it keeps getting harder, and we've all got problems, we all do. That's just that's called life. But it's one thing to talk about and another thing to get help. And hey, I do this in my personal life too. There's times when I talk about my problems way too much and actually don't want any help. And one of my good friends, a good friend is someone who's going to actually call you up on it. And I remember, I'll give you a quick story before I go. This podcast was supposed to be 2 minutes, now it's probably going to be 10. So I remember I had a really big issue in my life not so long ago, and it was a problem for me. Because I chose it to be one. And so I was constantly talking about this problem to my friend. I was like, man, how can you help? Like, how can I get out of this? This is just so hard. I can't deal with it. I don't know how to get out of it. And so he gave me some advice because I asked, hey, can you help me? And he gave me all this advice. And in between all his advice giving, I kept interrupting, saying, mate, I just can't do it. I can't do it. You don't understand. It's just so hard. And in an instant, and his friend knows who he is, he goes, listen, stop. And I'm like, what? So he stopped me from me keep talking about my problems, and he said, do you want my help or not? And I'm like, And he goes, seriously, do you want my help or not? Because in one instant you're asking for my help, and then in the other instant you just keep talking about your problems and you're saying you can't do it. So just tell me the truth. Do you want my help or not? And I sat there and I contemplated it, and then I realised I actually didn't want his help. I just wanted to stay in the problem. And I said that. I told him, actually, you know what? I'm not ready to change. I'm not ready to go forward, move on from this problem right now, because it's so raw to me. I feel I need to understand it better. I need to feel it, and it was really powerful because it was great, because it meant that he didn't have to keep going around in circles trying to help me, but also it made me stop talking about my problem and just being in the problem rather than talking about it, and that was really helpful. So he actually helped me by not helping me, if that makes sense. And so if you're someone out there who constantly tries to help everyone but feels like they're going around in circles, stop helping and start listening. If someone genuinely asks for your help, then that's when you can put your 2 cents in. But most of the time, people don't even want your advice. They just want to be listened to. Why do I know this? Because I talk to a lot of people every single day, and people just love to talk. Whether it's good or bad, or problems or great stuff. So just lend an ear, but just be mindful of trying to help someone who doesn't actually want their help. It can be tiring, exhausting, really draining, because I used to do a lot of it. I used to coach the wrong people, and it's just not much fun. So listen, and then conserve your energy and save it for yourself. You're helping yourself by not helping someone else, and that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. What it means is that you're just being aware of what is right and what is wrong for you, and when is a good time, when is not a good time. So I hope that helps. I'm a little bit delirious tonight. It's quite late for me, so apologies if it's a little bit rambly and I talk too much. See, I just want to be listened to too. Oh, this is funny. This is a funny podcast. I hope that helps. Remember, if you want probably more real life day stuff, where I'm not so delusional, there's plenty of podcasts and recordings for you. So make sure you subscribe, and I hope you can take away something from this lesson I learned recently. All the best.